The Glowing Mystery. Chapter 1. Welcome to Neon City. The neon lights of Zarian City shimmered like a giant rainbow made of electricity. Zarian City thrived on the icy surface of Ceres, a dwarf planet like a rainbow made of steel and light carved into the frozen bones of the asteroid belt of the solar system. To approach it from orbit was to watch a dream come alive. Shimmering domes and needle-thin towers rose from the endless white plains of water ice, gleaming beneath the purples and blues of an artificially tinted sky. Gravity here was not a gift of nature, but a stubborn human invention, and the air, sweet, crisp, faintly metallic, was held in place by invisible fields humming with quiet power. Beyond the transparent barrier, a vast emptiness of stars and tumbling asteroids drifted like silent sentinels. From the landing platform, Captain Zara could see it all spread out beneath her boots. Below, streets of glimmering metal curved in elegant loops, the neon veins of the city pulsing in rhythm with its heartbeat. Flying cars and ships zipped through the air in orderly streams, glinting silver and gold, while vast conveyor platforms carried heavy cargo toward the biodomes at the city's edge. The constant murmur of engines, punctuated by mechanical chimes and the faint hiss of cooling vents, created a kind of music, a mechanical lullaby for a city that never slept. It was a strange place, she thought, and yet in some ways more alive than Earth itself. After all, here every breath of air, every drop of water, every shimmer of light had been fought for, engineered, and maintained by human hands. Zarian was the stubborn, impossible dream of thousands who had looked up at the night sky and whispered, "Why not us?" They called it a colony, though it had grown beyond that, more station than settlement now. Born of desperation in the days when Earth's seas boiled and its skies choked, Zarian City became the great station of hope, a place where anyone could enroll, leave behind the crumbling world below on Earth, and seek the mysteries of the universe. Here, the protocol of the station ruled, the solemn compact between humanity and its explorers. The city gave you air to breathe, a ship to fly, and missions to prove yourself worthy. In return, you brought back stories of distant suns, of possible homes, of clues that life might wait out there in the darkness. And if you endured enough missions, if your crew survived and your ship earned enough credits, you could even choose a piece of the cosmos to call your own. Credits earned by crews not only secured future missions or retirement claims on celestial bodies, but also bought enhancements, bionic limbs, neural upgrades, sensory implants, and even weaponry attachments or enhancements. Every mission meant more than just survival. It meant the chance to return stronger, sharper, and more than human, ready to face whatever waited beyond the stars. Below the towers, on street level, streams of people moved like colorful currents through the wide avenues. Engineers in gleaming exosuits, children darting through crowds, old spacers with scars and stories etched into their faces, all here because they couldn't help but wonder what waited beyond the belt. They paused at kiosks glowing with holographic ads. Enroll. Today, the universe awaits, or gazed up at enormous projection screens displaying the names of crews who had claimed celestial bodies as their own. The Asphodel crew, Kepler 76b, the Jinwu expedition, Ross 128c. For every name illuminated in bright letters, another 100 still waited their turn, their names hidden in the endless scroll below. High above it all loomed the command spire, its surface dark glass laced with faintly glowing veins of green. Here was where the protocol lived, where missions were assigned, where credits were tallied, where the whispers of 1,000 ships crackled through the air like static prayers. From within the spire's control rooms came the voice of the Space Command building, cool and measured, always watching, always assigning. And further still, far beyond the city walls, were the quiet fields of ice stretching to the horizon. Underneath those icy plains ran the subterranean reservoirs, vast cisterns of liquid water mined from the planet's frozen crust. From here, water was fed to the city and shipped across the belt to stations and colonies less fortunate. Zarian lived because the ice did, and the ice, ancient and indifferent, gave grudgingly but endlessly. Captain Zara let her eyes wander to the edge of the city, where the great airlocks opened into hangars bustling with ships of every shape and age. Some gleamed like polished jewels, sleek and new. Others were dented relics of the first waves of settlers, patched together more by hope than by skill. There was always someone leaving, always someone returning, faces tired but triumphant, haunted but alive. Because that was what Zarian promised, a chance to leave, to risk, to reach for something bigger than yourself. She knew the story well. Her own first mission briefing still burned in her memory, the cold knot of fear in her gut, the way her fingers had trembled against the polished steel of the briefing room table, the holographic map glowing before her. The protocol officer's voice had been calm, almost bored. Survey a Class M candidate orbiting Tau Ceti. Log atmospheric readings, collect samples. If signs of habitability confirmed, claim rights for your crew and return. Payment in credits upon completion. It always sounded simple at first. But nothing out there was simple, and nothing out there was kind. Far overhead, the vast protective dome flickered faintly as an asteroid dust cloud scattered against its invisible surface. Beyond it, the stars burned indifferent and eternal. Zarian City kept them at bay, but just barely. That was part of the charm. The city never pretended to make you safe. It only gave you the tools to try. In the distance, enormous transport haulers lifted from the spaceport, bound for the moon's biodomes. The moon, once barren and gray, became Earth's first colony, which now shone green and gold with vast enclosed farms, hydroponic fields and gene-spliced crops grown under silver light to feed the colonies. Those shipments arrived every few days in rhythmic convoys, their massive cargo holds full of food for Zarian and its people. Zarian City never promised you'd survive, but it promised you'd matter, and maybe that was enough. Captain Zara stood on the landing platform of the Space Command building, her bionic, shiny silver arm catching every flash of neon light. That arm could blast through steel doors if she needed, but right now she used it to scratch her cheek, a nervous habit she'd had since childhood. Here we go again, she thought, gazing down at the bustling city below. Another mission, another chance for things to go spectacularly wrong. But what else am I good at? A gentle meow made her look down. Choppy, her orange tabby rubbed against her leg. His 4 bionic paws clicked softly on the metal as he curled around her boots. He'd gotten them after an accident 2 years ago. Half of his head was wrapped in a glowing brain chip that changed color to show his mood. Right now, it was a happy green. Well, at least someone's having a good day, Zara whispered, reaching down to scratch behind his ear. Dr. Elias emerged from the building, his tech eye whirring as it zoomed in and out, scanning the busy city. The eye could see things miles away and even look inside objects. He was a tall man with messy brown hair and a smile that never seemed to leave his face, even when things got dangerous. "Magnificent, isn't it?" he said, placing a hand on his chin as he watched the flying traffic. All these beings from different worlds, living together, sharing knowledge and dreams. In the vastness of space, we are but tiny specks, he thought. Yet our actions ripple through the cosmos. What does it mean to be truly alive? To make a difference? Rex, their android companion, walked up behind them with mechanical precision. His metallic body was painted dark blue, and his glowing orange eyes could see in complete darkness. "Humans and their endless fascination with pretty lights," he said with a smirk, crossing his arms. "It's a wonder you haven't blown yourselves up yet." "Curiosity is what drives us forward, Rex," Dr. Elias replied, still gazing at the city. "Without it, we'd still be staring at the stars, wondering what's out there. And now you stare at the stars, wondering what's trying to kill you out there, Rex shot back. How very progressive. Zara rolled her eyes and headed toward their ship, a sleek silver vessel called the Star Dancer. Come on, you two. We've got a job to do. The mission briefing had been simple enough. Investigate a distress signal from an abandoned research station. But Zara had been doing this job long enough to know that nothing was ever simple in space. The signal had come from the edge of the galaxy, a place where most people were smart enough not to go. Inside the ship, the walls hummed with soft blue light. Choppy immediately jumped onto his favorite cushion near the pilot's seat, his brain chip now glowing yellow, which meant he was curious about something. The cat's enhanced legs allowed him to jump 3 times higher than a normal cat, and his brain chip helped him communicate his basic needs to the crew. So what do we know about this signal? Zara asked, settling into the pilot's seat. Her bionic arm interfaced with the ship's controls, connecting directly to the navigation system. Dr. Elias pulled up a holographic display showing the signal's waveform. It's been transmitting for exactly 72 hours. The pattern is unusual. It's not random, but it's not following any known communication protocol either. Unusual how? Zara scratched her cheek again. Well, it contains coordinates to a research station called Deep Echo. But here's the strange part. The signal also contains this symbol. He tapped the display, and a complex geometric pattern appeared. It looked like a star inside a circle, surrounded by smaller symbols that seemed to move and shift when you looked at them. Rex leaned forward, his orange eyes analyzing the pattern. Fascinating. A symbol that appears to be ancient, yet it's being transmitted on a frequency that was only invented last year. How very mysterious. Great. Another routine mission, Zara thought as she fired up the engines. Nothing's ever routine in this job. At least Choppy's brain chip is glowing green. He's happy. Wish I could say the same. The Star Dancer lifted off from the platform, joining the stream of flying vehicles heading toward the upper atmosphere. The purple sky gradually faded to black as they left Zerion's atmosphere behind. Soon the stars surrounded them like tiny diamonds scattered on black velvet. Course set for the Deep Echo station, Zara announced. Travel time, 6 hours. Dr. Elias was still staring at the strange symbol on his display. Every signal in the universe carries a story, he mused. What tale does this one tell? Perhaps we're meant to find whatever sent it. Or perhaps, Rex interjected, whatever sent it is meant to find us. How wonderfully ominous. As they traveled through hyperspace, the ship's lights dimmed to conserve power. Choppy curled up on his cushion, his brain chip cycling through soft colors as he dreamed. The gentle hum of the engines was almost peaceful. But then something changed. Choppy's brain chip suddenly flashed bright red, the danger warning. The cat's eyes snapped open, and he stood up, his bionic legs whirring with tension. At the same moment, the ship's communication system crackled to life. Star Dancer, this is Zerion Control. We're detecting massive energy fluctuations from your destination. Please report your status. Zara's hands flew over the controls, her bionic arm working faster than human reflexes. Zerion Control, this is the Star Dancer. We're en route to the Deep Echo research station. Our new mission is to investigate the distress signal of our assigned destination. What kind of energy fluctuations? The response came back filled with static. The entire sector is massive gravitational anomaly. Recommend immediate. Then the signal died completely. Of course, Zara thought, scratching her cheek nervously. It's never just a simple rescue mission, is it? Rex turned to look at her, his mechanical face somehow managing to look smug. Well, this is going exactly as expected. Shall I prepare the escape pods now, or would you prefer to wait until we're actually dying? Dr. Elias was studying his scanner readings, his tech eye zooming in on the data. The energy readings are extraordinary. It's like something is waking up out there. Choppy's brain chip was now flashing between red and purple, danger mixed with confusion. The cat had never shown purple before, and none of them knew what it meant. "Whatever's happening," Zara said, gripping the controls tighter, "we're about to find out. Hold on, everyone." The Star Dancer dropped out of hyperspace, and what they saw made them all gasp. The Deep Echo research station was there, floating in the darkness just as expected. But surrounding it was something impossible, a swirling vortex of golden light that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The light was so bright it hurt to look at, yet somehow beautiful at the same time. "By the stars," Dr. Elias whispered. "What is that?" But before anyone could answer, the golden light began to move toward them. Chapter 2. The Abandoned Station. The Deep Echo research station looked like a metal spider floating in space. Its long arms stretched out in all directions, covered with communication dishes and docking ports. But something was wrong. The station was dark except for a few emergency lights that flickered like dying fireflies. "Scanning for life signs," Dr. Elias said, his tech eye whirring as it penetrated the station's hull. "That's odd. I'm not detecting any people, but all the systems are still running. Life support, artificial gravity, even the coffee machines are still on." "Empty station, but the coffee's still warm," Zara thought as she maneuvered the Star Dancer toward a docking port. "Someone left in a hurry. The question is why, and are they coming back?" Rex was monitoring the golden light vortex, which had stopped moving and was now just waiting. The energy readings from that phenomenon are off the charts. It's almost like it's watching us. "Don't be silly," Dr. Elias said, but his voice sounded uncertain. "Energy can't watch anything, it's just energy." "If you say so," Rex replied with his usual sarcasm. "Though in my experience, when something defies explanation, it's usually trying to kill you." Choppy's brain chip was still cycling between red and purple, his enhanced legs twitching with nervousness. The cat seemed to sense something the others couldn't. The Star Dancer docked with a soft clang. Zara checked her bionic arm's energy levels, fully charged and ready for trouble. "All right, everyone. Standard exploration protocol. Stay together, stay alert, and if anything tries to eat us, shoot first and ask questions later." "How very philosophical," Rex commented, extending small energy weapons from his fingertips. They stepped through the airlock into the station's main corridor. The air was thick and stale, with a strange smell like ozone mixed with flowers. Emergency lights cast eerie shadows on the walls, and their footsteps echoed in the emptiness. "Hello?" Dr. Elias called out, his voice bouncing off the metal walls. "Is anyone here?" No answer came back except the echo of his own voice. They moved deeper into the station, passing empty cafeterias and abandoned workstations. Personal belongings were scattered everywhere. Half-finished meals, family photos, jackets draped over chairs. It looked like everyone had simply vanished in the middle of their daily routine. "This gives me the creeps," Zara muttered, scratching her cheek. "Where is everyone?" Choppy was walking carefully on his bionic legs, his brain chip now glowing a steady orange, which meant he was investigating something. The cat kept looking up at the ceiling, as if he could hear something the others couldn't. "The research logs might tell us what happened," Dr. Elias suggested, leading them toward the main laboratory. Whatever they were studying here, it must be connected to that energy vortex outside. The laboratory was massive, filled with equipment that hummed and beeped softly. Holographic displays showed complex equations and star charts. But in the center of the room, on a raised platform, sat something that made them all stop and stare. It was a pyramid-shaped object about the size of a backpack made of what looked like black glass. Strange symbols were carved into its surface, the same symbols they'd seen in the distress signal. But the most amazing thing was that the pyramid was glowing with a soft, warm light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with their heartbeats. "By the cosmos," Dr. Elias whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful. This energy, it feels alive," he thought as he approached the artifact. "Like it's trying to communicate. But what is it saying?" Rex hung back, his sensors analyzing the object from a distance. Fascinating. An ancient artifact that humans can't resist touching. How very predictable. "Don't touch it yet," Zara warned. But Dr. Elias was already reaching out with one hand. The moment his fingers made contact with the pyramid's surface, it pulsed with brilliant light. Dr. Elias gasped as warmth spread up his arm. His fingers tingled as he traced the intricate patterns etched into the surface, and for a moment he could swear he heard whispers in a language he didn't recognize. "Elias!" Zara shouted, her bionic arm charging up. "Step away from that thing!" But Dr. Elias was transfixed. The pyramid was warm to the touch, and the symbols seemed to be moving under his fingers. "This is incredible," he thought. "It's like holding a piece of the universe itself." Choppy's brain chip was now flashing rapidly between multiple colors, red, purple, blue, and yellow, all mixed together. The cat had never shown so many colors at once, and he was making a low growling sound that seemed almost like he was trying to talk. "The research logs," Rex said, accessing a nearby computer terminal. "According to these files, the scientists discovered this artifact on a dead planet 3 weeks ago. They called it the Key, and believed it was some kind of ancient alien technology." Zara moved closer to read over his shoulder. "Keep reading. What else does it say?" "Here's an interesting entry," Rex continued, his voice taking on a more serious tone. "Day 15. The Key has begun to emit strange energy signatures. Dr. Patterson believes it's trying to communicate with something in deep space. We've detected massive gravitational anomalies forming near our position." "And here's the last entry," Rex said, his orange eyes dimming slightly. "Day 18. The Key has activated something. God help us all. We're evacuating the station. If anyone finds this log, do not touch the artifact. It's not just a key, it's a door, and something is coming through." The words hung in the air like a warning. Dr. Elias finally stepped back from the pyramid, his hand still tingling from the contact. "A door to what?" Zara asked, scratching her cheek nervously. Before anyone could answer, the pyramid suddenly pulsed with intense light. The symbols on its surface began to glow brighter, and the air around it started to shimmer like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Then, without warning, the pyramid projected a holographic star map into the air above it. The map showed their current location, the deep echo station floating in space next to the golden energy vortex. But as they watched, the map began to move, zooming out to show the entire star system. "It's showing us something," Dr. Elias said, his voice filled with awe. "But what?" The star map continued to zoom out, showing neighboring star systems and trade routes. Then, at the very edge of the projection, something appeared that made them all freeze with terror. It was massive, bigger than a planet, bigger than anything they'd ever seen. The object was moving through space at incredible speed, and according to the map's calculations, it was heading straight for their location. "How long until it gets here?" Zara asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know the answer. Dr. Elias was frantically calculating the trajectory. Based on its current speed and distance, approximately 6 hours. Rex looked at the holographic display with his usual sarcasm, but there was something different in his voice now, something that might have been actual concern. Well, this is unexpected. It appears we've accidentally sent a signal to something very large and very fast. How wonderfully apocalyptic. Choppy's brain chip was now solid purple, the mysterious color none of them understood. The cat was staring at the pyramid with an intensity that was almost human-like, as if he was trying to figure out a puzzle. Not every mystery ends in disaster, Zara thought, though she wasn't entirely convinced. Sometimes you find something worth protecting. But what if this time is different? The pyramid's glow was getting brighter, and the symbols on its surface were moving faster now. The energy vortex outside the station was also growing larger, its golden light becoming more intense. "We need to get out of here," Zara said, her bionic arm automatically checking its charge levels. "Whatever's coming, I don't think we want to be here when it arrives." But as they turned to leave, the pyramid suddenly stopped glowing. The holographic star map flickered and vanished. The laboratory fell silent except for the hum of machinery. Then, from somewhere deep in the station, came a sound that made their blood freeze, the soft, rhythmic thudding of something very large, docking with the station. "Too late," Rex said, his orange eyes brightening with alertness. "It appears our visitors have arrived early." The station shuddered as something massive connected with the main docking bay. Through the laboratory's windows, they could see the golden energy vortex swirling faster, its light casting strange shadows throughout the room. Choppy's brain chip was now cycling through colors so fast it looked like a tiny rainbow. The cat was backing away from the pyramid, his bionic legs clicking nervously on the metal floor. "What do we do?" Dr. Elias asked, his tech eyes scanning for escape routes. Before Zara could answer, a new sound filled the air, a deep, harmonic tone that seemed to come from everywhere at once. It was unlike anything they'd ever heard, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The pyramid began to glow again, brighter than before. The symbols on its surface were now moving so fast they looked like liquid light flowing across the black glass. "I think," Zara said, scratching her cheek as she stared at the artifact, "we're about to find out what's on the other side of that door." Chapter 3. The Truth Revealed. The harmonic tone grew louder, filling the laboratory with sound that seemed to vibrate through their bones. The pyramid was now glowing so brightly it was hard to look at directly. The symbols on its surface moved like living things, flowing and shifting in patterns that almost made sense, but not quite. "Everyone stay calm," Zara said, though her bionic arm was fully charged and ready for battle. "We don't know if they're friendly or hostile." Rex's sensors were going crazy, his orange eyes flickering as he tried to process all the incoming data. "According to my readings, whatever just docked with us is approximately 2 miles long and contains technology that's at least 10,000 years more advanced than ours. How very humbling." Dr. Elias was staring at the pyramid with fascination instead of fear. "Knowledge shared across the stars," he thought. "This is what we were meant to find. The universe has a way of bringing the right people together." Choppy's brain chip had settled into a steady purple glow, and the cat was no longer backing away from the pyramid. Instead, he was sitting calmly, his bionic legs tucked under him, like he was waiting for something. The sound of footsteps echoed through the station's corridors. But these weren't human footsteps. They were softer, more rhythmic, like music being played with feet instead of instruments. "They're coming," Zara whispered, positioning herself between the pyramid and the laboratory entrance. Rex, can you tell how many? Approximately 12 individuals, Rex replied, his weapon systems activated but not yet extended. But here's the interesting part. They're not armed. In fact, they don't seem to have any weapons at all. The footsteps grew closer, and then figures appeared in the laboratory doorway. The visitors were tall and graceful, with long limbs and skin that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. They wore flowing robes that changed color as they moved, and their faces were kind and wise, with large eyes that sparkled like stars. The leader stepped forward and spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Please, do not be afraid. We mean you no harm. We have been searching for our lost beacon for many cycles. Dr. Elias stepped forward, placing a hand on his chin thoughtfully. Your beacon? You mean the pyramid? Yes, the alien leader replied with what might have been a smile. It was taken from our world long ago by explorers. We have been following its signal, hoping to find it before it could cause any damage. Not every mystery ends in disaster, Zara thought, slowly relaxing her stance. Sometimes you find something worth protecting. Rex tilted his head, studying the aliens with his usual analytical approach. Well, this is unexpected. Peaceful aliens who say please and thank you. How refreshingly civilized. One of the younger aliens noticed Choppy and knelt down beside him. The cat's brain chip immediately switched to blue, the color for contentment, as the alien gently stroked his fur. What a beautiful creature, the young alien said. His mind light speaks of loyalty and love. You are fortunate to have such a companion. Mind light? Zara asked, scratching her cheek. You mean his brain chip? The alien leader nodded. We see the artificial enhancements you have made to yourselves and your companion. Very clever. We too have learned to blend technology with biology, though in different ways. Dr. Elias was practically vibrating with excitement. This is incredible. First contact with an advanced alien civilization. There's so much we could learn from each other. Indeed, the leader replied. Our beacon, what you call the pyramid, is actually a key to what you might call a library. It contains the accumulated knowledge of thousands of worlds, gathered over millions of years. Rex's orange eyes brightened with interest. A universal library. How wonderfully ambitious. And you're willing to share this knowledge with a species that still can't figure out how to live peacefully on its own planet? The alien leader's expression grew more serious. That is the question, isn't it? Your species shows great promise, curiosity, creativity, the ability to form bonds across species lines. The leader gestured toward Choppy, who was now purring as several young aliens petted him. But you also show great capacity for destruction. Every signal in the universe carries a story, Dr. Elias thought. What tale does this one tell? Perhaps we're meant to prove that we can be trusted with such knowledge. What would we need to do to prove ourselves? Dr. Elias asked, voicing his thoughts. The leader touched the pyramid, and it responded with a soft, warm glow. The beacon has been testing you since the moment you arrived. It can sense intentions, measure the content of character. Your android friend, despite his sarcastic nature, shows deep loyalty and protection instincts. Your captain, despite her cynical outlook, risks her life for others without hesitation. And you, Doctor, seek knowledge not for personal gain, but to help others understand the universe. Zara felt a warm sensation in her chest. And what about Choppy? The young alien who was still petting the cat laughed, a sound like silver bells ringing. Your companion has the purest heart of all. He loves without condition, trusts without reservation. In many ways, he is the most evolved being here. Choppy's brain chip was now glowing a steady, warm yellow, the color of happiness. His bionic legs were relaxed, and he was purring so loudly it echoed through the laboratory. "So, what happens now?" Zara asked, though she thought she already knew the answer. The leader smiled. Definitely a smile this time. "Now, you have a choice. You can return to your world and continue as you were, or you can become ambassadors. Help us establish peaceful contact with your species, learn from us, and teach us in return." Dr. Elias didn't hesitate. "Yes. Absolutely yes. This is the greatest opportunity in human history." Rex looked skeptical. "And if humanity proves unworthy of this trust, what then?" "Then we will wait," the leader replied simply. "Perhaps for another 1,000 years, perhaps for 10,000. The universe is patient, and wisdom comes to those who are ready for it. Sometimes the best mysteries are the ones that lead to friendship," Zara thought, finally allowing herself to smile. Maybe this job isn't just about disasters after all. The leader approached the pyramid and placed both hands on its surface. "With your permission, we would like to transport this beacon to a neutral location, perhaps a space station between our worlds. There, representatives from both our species can meet and begin the process of building trust." "What about the research station?" Zara asked. "The scientists who were here?" "They are safe," the leader assured her. "When the beacon activated, we transported them to one of our ships. They have been our guests, learning about our culture while we learned about theirs. They will be returned to their homes with memories of wonder, not fear." Over the next few hours, the aliens worked with the human team to carefully transport the pyramid to their ship. The massive vessel was unlike anything they'd ever seen. It looked like it was grown rather than built, with organic curves and surfaces that seemed to breathe with life. Dr. Elias spent most of the time asking questions, his notebook filling with observations about alien technology and philosophy. Rex engaged in what could only be described as a sarcasm competition with one of the younger aliens, both of them enjoying the exchange immensely. Choppy became something of a celebrity among the alien children, his brain chip cycling through happy colors as they played gentle games with him. The aliens were fascinated by his bionic legs and the way he could communicate his needs through the colored lights. "He's building bridges between species," one of the alien adults observed. "Animals often do this better than more intelligent beings. They don't complicate things with fear or prejudice." As they prepared to leave, the leader gave each of them a small crystal pendant. "These will allow you to communicate with us across any distance. When your species is ready to take the next step, simply hold the crystal and think of us. We will hear you." Zara held the crystal up to the light, watching it sparkle with inner fire. "How will we know when humanity is ready?" "You'll know," the leader said with certainty. "And when that time comes, the beacon will activate again, and the door between our worlds will open fully." The journey back to Zerion was quiet, each of them lost in their own thoughts. Choppy slept peacefully on his cushion, his brain chip glowing a soft, contented blue. The cat's accident had given him bionic legs, but it had also led him to this moment, becoming an ambassador between species. As they approached the neon-lit cityscape of Zerion, Dr. Elias broke the silence. "So, what do we tell everyone?" "The truth," Zara replied, surprising herself with the certainty in her voice. "We tell them that we're not alone, that there's hope for something better, and that sometimes the best adventures are the ones that end with friendship instead of explosions." Rex's orange eyes flickered with what might have been amusement. How wonderfully optimistic. Though I suppose if we're going to be ambassadors, we should probably work on being more diplomatic. You mean less sarcastic? Zara asked with a grin. Let's not get carried away, Rex replied. Some things are sacred. As the Star Dancer settled onto the landing platform, Choppy's brain chip began cycling through colors: red, yellow, blue, green, purple, all the colors they'd seen, plus some new ones they'd never noticed before. It was like he was telling them a story in light, a tale of adventure and discovery, and the beginning of something wonderful. Dr. Elias scratched behind Choppy's ears as they prepared to disembark. You know, I think our friend here might be the smartest one of all. He never doubted that this would have a happy ending. Perhaps that's the real secret, Zara thought as she watched the cat's colorful light display. Sometimes you just have to trust that the universe has good things in store for you. The crystal pendant felt warm in her pocket, and she knew that this was just the beginning. Somewhere out there, their new friends were waiting, ready to share the knowledge of the ages with anyone wise enough to ask for it. And in the meantime, there would be more missions, more mysteries, more adventures. But now they would face them with the knowledge that they weren't alone in the universe, and that sometimes the greatest discoveries were the ones that brought people together instead of driving them apart. Choppy's brain chip settled into a steady, warm gold, a color none of them had ever seen before, but somehow they all knew exactly what it meant. Hope. The end.